morning, everybody. Let's get this thing going. The markets are looking frothy. Hope you guys were in those long positions. Let's do it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I hope you're doing fantastic today out there in crypto land, guys. The markets look fantastic this morning. A lot of opportunity, guys. Hope you guys took some of the trade ideas that we had talked about yesterday. Congratulations to all the big winners in the premium Discord this morning, pulling in some big gains this morning, not going to lie. Exciting morning to wake up to. It's been a good time because I've been able to restructure my schedule so that I'm actually able to stay up a little bit later at night and catch the early morning movements for the American traders when the Europeans wake up and start moving the markets. So good times, excellent. That allows me to catch most of the major movements. And then by the time I get up in the morning, I'm able to capture the movements of the American traders. Now, that had been my schedule for a very long time. Well, for years, actually, my schedule was waking up at the tick of the American bell. So getting up at, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, cold shower, fasted run, protein shake, and then hit the markets and trade all day until 3:30. In traditional markets, the period of highest volatility is going to be the opening bell, the 30 minutes following that, and the closing bell 30 minutes prior to that. That's traditionally your highest areas of volatility. So I had trained myself to trade almost exclusively like that for a long time. So cryptocurrency, a little bit different, having a market that never closes. So happy to have my schedule restructured and be able to capture more wins for the team. Of course, today is January 14th, Monday, and it does not look like a Monday, Bloody Monday, guys. Now, the day's not over and we have lots of opportunities. So just want to give a big shout out to everybody watching. I don't know if the restream chat is working on the stream. It should be, and it looks like we are clipping along nicely at about 3,200 kilobytes per second. So all right, let's just give a big shout out to everybody in the chat. Dylan, Christian, Devick, hey, what's going on? How is Croatia this morning? Dylan, yes, this is a good time to start stream. We're going to break it down, man. Gabriel, hey, good morning to you, man. Hey, Gabriel, by the way, thank you so much for the Tier 1 subscription on Twitch, man. Highly appreciated. Thank you, my friend. Podnuts, hey, what's going on, brother? Ben Joseph, good morning to you. Jake Rezio, life is good. Life is really good. It's a good morning. Woke up. My daughter's smiling at me. My portfolio's nice and green. Trades are going well. It's a good morning. It's a good morning. So let's break into the. Actually, sorry, I do need to start doing the announcements first. So let's get into the announcements. Just 1 second, guys. All right, make sure I get this up. News and info. And there we go. Okay, so we'll just do a quick update of the positions for the ones that complete. All right, so this has been this right here. So starting from the first red. Get out of there. Yeah, so starting right here. Let me make sure. Yep. So starting right here, actually, this is last night. So TRX H19, that was yesterday, the long completed. XBT H19, that was our hedge that I had talked about yesterday putting on for the XBT USD long that we had been filling up for. That ended up completing. The XBT USD long is going nicely. We were able to fill our third fill pretty much right at the bottom. Had that third fill at 34.84, so that was a good capture of the market. Stop loss lower around the low 34 teens. That was a key level that I had been looking at for a while, and we can look at that when we go to the actual XBT chart. But I had thrown on that XBT H19 hedge because although I wasn't expecting another leg down, didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. We had already swept liquidity from a previous support level, and so I was expecting a pop back up. However, I did want to throw on that XBT hedge just to make sure we were safe. We had thrown on that hedge at that previous level. So although we didn't hit any necessarily take profit levels on that, of course, there was the opportunity for the traders to take profit on that because we had entered into that hedge at a previous consolidation period before that initial drop down. TRX H19 pumped up last night. I was able to capture that scalp short, pulled it all the way down to about 602. That was a good one. Entered pretty much right at the top, 620, 630. So right as our TRX H19 long was completing take profit 3, I just saw the opportunity in the market. I saw that we were coming right to the point of control. We stalled right at the point of control. We put in a reversal candle. I wanted to enter right at the retop of that, the retest of the high. Luckily, price did pump up a little bit more, tapped into that liquidity because it was an SFP, basically a swing failure pattern, where price does retest a previous high, moves a little bit higher than the previous high, and then moves back down. So we were able to capture that movement. It was a nice movement with the volatility in the market. It was about 3.68% at take profit 3. Didn't hit the last take profit target, but that's all right. It was a good trade. ETH USD. So we got, I wouldn't say we got spanked because again, you guys have to keep in mind the risk management strategy. So the ETH USD trade that we had put on previously where we were entering between 124 and 121, we did get stopped at 119.83 on that big drop down. That's okay though. We did end up refilling last night around 116, and then we hit our last take profit target on that at 124. So completely abolished the loss on that and back in the green on our ETH USD trades. Last night I also saw the liquidity grabs for Litecoin and LTCH19, so I went ahead and put in positions on that. And of course, obviously, if you guys are watching the charts, waking up to a nice green day on that as well. So currently I only have 3 open positions. Let's go ahead and so there's that. There's the update for the premium trading group. So shout out to all you guys. Thank you so much. Let's talk about me and Scott will still be speaking at the this Saturday, actually. No, I don't want that. Oh, chapters, sorry. Here we go. So me and Scott will still be speaking at the Milwaukee chapter of the American Association of Individual Investors on January 19th, right here. We'll be giving a presentation on introduction to investing in cryptocurrency, how you can use mining as a passive income source, and alternatives to, and basically we're going to be comparing gold and fiat to cryptocurrency. So it's just going to be an introduction. Again, tickets are still on sale for that. I think that if you're watching the show, you're probably leaps and bounds above most of the people who are going to be there at the event. We did one of these back in May. They're older individuals, and again, nothing against geriatrics, or not even geriatrics. Man, I sound like an asshole. They're just older investors who are looking to probably hedge their capital against the oncoming recession. So we'll be talking about that. If you guys want to come out and see us, hang out, we will be there. That is at the Westmore Country Club in Brookfield, Wisconsin, again, January 19th. So this Friday, I'll be leaving, or excuse me, this Saturday. I will be leaving Friday, so won't be able to do the live streams probably as best as I can, but I'm going to do my best. We'll just see what bandwidth and travel will do for us. All right, let's look at some data metrics before we get into the technical analysis. Bid ask sum. Let's start off with Bitfinex. Let's look at the bid ask sum. Yep, we still see that demand is much higher than supply. Supply continues to fall off. The number of limit orders has recently just dropped off on this latest big pump. That's okay. That's natural to see. We don't really see an increase of limit sells. So not a lot of individuals interested in selling this top. Although, of course, we do see profit taking, but overall, the market remains with an abundance of demand as opposed to supply, so looking quite bullish, as we had talked about yesterday. Let's look at Coinbase. Coinbase, the same thing. We do see rising open interest. We had a lot of demand. We had an overabundance of demand. We just recently saw demand drop off. So demand just dropped off down here. We now have an equilibrium, and we do have rising supply. So we do want to be cautious at this particular point in the market as far as Coinbase goes. We'll just wait for this to develop. And of course, looking at BitMEX. Of course, looking at BitMEX, we see the exact same thing where we had an overabundance of demand. A massive abundance of demand right here. And this was your leading indicator. I mean, look right here. The market is flat right here. And this is before the big pump. So if you're watching this if you are using this as a leading indicator, you can actually see right here, boom, we spike up. We spike from 70, 74, 73 million on the buy side to 87. So we have almost a 10%, a $13 million increase to the buy side. And when you see something like that, that is extremely bullish, especially if you are in consolidation, especially if you are actually moving down. When you see something like this at the top of a market, you can potentially consider that as a blow off top where buyers are getting exhausted. But generally, when the market is flat, if you're in consolidation or if you are actually trending downwards, this is a good, if you're trending downwards, it is a key indicator of a potential reversal. And if you're in consolidation, it is your strong directional bias. So we do see that the demand has dropped off below supply, actually, if you look over here on the right-hand side of the screen. Probably hard to see for you guys, but I can't see it on my end. You just have to go, you can go look at it yourself. So we will be cautious. We're looking right now for a SR flip. We're looking for a support resistance flip for continued bullish movement to the upside. Okay, and we'll take a look at market depth. Okay, so I had talked about this yesterday. Remember, yesterday I had said why I was bullish, one of the fundamental reasons I was bullish, and that was because I had saw this massive increase in the number of limit buys on the order books. So this is averaged across all exchanges, And if we actually go look at the daily, we're not going to be able to see the increase, but this happened yesterday, right live on stream. We were sitting right around here, and we had this big pump up in demand. And that is a fundamentally bullish sign, especially because Bitcoin was trending downwards and in consolidation. So very bullish sign. And what we've seen now is that same demand drop off. So again, we do want to be cautious because we've seen the demand basically become exhausted at this current price level. Now, technically, price does look very bullish, but we do need to wait and check for this support resistance flip. And we do want to wait for a good entry before we just buy into the top of a market cycle. All right, so there we go. There's that. And just checking in with Coin Farm real quick. Yes, we do see that the longs are getting quite aggressive, 53% to the long side. For this is obviously measuring, again, as I talked about before, the aggression of market of individuals opening up market orders on BitMEX. So 53.77% of all market orders are to the buy side right now. So they're not over their skis. We don't necessarily see that we are going to experience a top yet. When we do see something like a 60-40 ratio, we can be fairly confident that we are going to be experiencing a market top. And we can see this right here. We have almost 2 million to the buy side right there and 1.5 million to the buy side right there. Now, those are market orders, so very aggressive market orders. You can also see these things on a significant trades ticker. All right, let's go over to the charts. So here's where we're sitting at right now. Let me scroll over to the chat and say hello to everybody real quick. BF says fake bull. Keel Wheelson says good morning. Bull trap action. Alex says that's some good morning, brother. BF says I think so. I would be surprised if not. Gabriel says no problem, Justin. I have Amazon Prime anyway and may as well get some productive use from it. Well, thank you so much, man. Knit and Soki, good morning. Hey, Mr. Ether, how are we doing this morning? Thank you so much, brother. Let's see. Jake Rezio says, I'm considering joining the premium group. Well, awesome, man. We'd love to have you. What exchanges do you recommend I sign up for to get the most benefit? I'm currently on Kraken, Robinhood, and Coinbase. So you can extrapolate our trades to Coinbase. Primarily, we trade on BitMEX and Binance. We do occasionally post signals for Bittrex. We don't do any low cap stuff. We don't do Cryptopia. We don't do KuCoin. We don't do HitBTC. We don't do anything like that. We leave that stuff to the pump and dump groups. You can certainly extrapolate our calls to Kraken as well. I actually have two members now that trade, that are obviously US based, so they're not allowed to trade on BitMEX, so they extrapolate our calls to Kraken. Hey, Kyle Mitchell, what's going on, brother? We've got Sandriv Disgrata in the chat and Daniel De Leon. Let's see here. Daniel De Leon says, we have to at least give BTC Fund Manager with bullish cipher from yesterday's video. I'm not sure I get it, man. I'm not sure I get it, bro. Fabricator FBF, good morning to you. Alex Sanchez, backed morning, yes. Lifestyle Combat, what's going on, bro? I'll be on here for my regular time. I'll be here till 1. Hey, Marcus Hans. All right, guys. Let's get into the analysis. So let's start off with Bitcoin. And let's go look at how the weekly candle closed last week. All right, sorry, we're going to take off logarithmic real quick. All right, so what do we see? What do we see from the weekly candle last week? Well, we had been putting in resistance on the weekly time frame right here. We had come down and tested it once, almost came down and tested it on the second week right here, where we are testing the resistance. That resistance was right at that 35.88 level. And what did we have last week? Well, we had a very bearish week last week where we ended up opening we opened right in my resistance zone right here. The previous equilibrium block of the weekly candle right here is measuring the equilibrium zone, the resistance zone that we are experiencing on the longer time frames. So we do, if we are going to be extremely bullish, if we're going to be extremely optimistic and looking for a movement above this Fibonacci retracement level right here, so above 43.77, we do need to close a weekly candle above this level. And the upwards resistance on this weekly equilibrium block is coming in right around 4,100. Now, of course, this is on Bitstamp, so we are looking at spot price here. Keep in mind to take into account the contango or backwardation on whatever futures platform you may be trading. Premium or discount, for those of you not familiar with those terms. So we are looking for a weekly candle to preferably open and close above this level. If we can get a weekly candle to both open and close above this level, then I will be fairly excited that we are going to gap trade through this LVN. Now that LVN extends from 4,600 pretty much to 5,300, the lower 5,000s. We have major resistance coming in around that $5,500 level. Again, we have previous swing lows coming in around 5,794, 5,900, obviously 6,000. But you can also see, if we just take this recent decline into account, we have an extremely shallow area of the volume profile coming in right here. As I've said many times, what we have to understand, how does price react when they correspond with shallow areas of liquidity, meaning there's not a lot of liquidity at these levels. Price wants to go to liquidity. Price is overall on the weekly time frame in a period of consolidation. Now, what makes Bitcoin so profitable to trade is its volatility, even in something like a bear market, because it does move insane percentiles compared to your traditional assets that most individuals would be experienced with trading or used to trading or comfortable with trading. Bitcoin can be extremely uncomfortable for a lot of investors because of its high volatility. But as a trader, I thrive on volatility. I need volatility to live. If a market stays flat, I can't do anything. And this is why I migrated from Forex to cryptocurrency initially back in 2016, was because of the lack of liquidity. Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of individuals who are being very successful trading Forex right now. For example, there are some Forex pairs, there are some currency pairs that have experienced recent extreme volatility. There have been some good long-term swing plays in the currency markets. And taking into account the global situation in the world, it would not surprise me if that situation continued. However, I would still be at this point in the currency markets be looking to be a seller, not necessarily a buyer, unless the right opportunity came up to me. Some of the markets look like they're overblown, but it just depends on what pair you're trading. There's always going to be opportunities. Now, weekly candle did come down and close below that support level. It did close below the high of the previous bearish weekly candle. So we have had a 50% retrace of our bullish candle, which originally took us from the lows at 3,200 back up to our equilibrium block to retest it. Now, a lot of consolidation at this period, weekly consolidation, what looks like distribution. Now we have fallen back down to a key support level, and we need to see how price is going to react to this support level. This is the first real test of a candle body close at that level on the weekly time frame. So if we actually close this candle, if we end up reversing and closing this weekly candle again below the support level, that will, in my eyes, be a confirmed kill of the support level, and I will look for us to retest the weekly lows. But as long as we remain above this weekly candle, on a candlestick analysis basis, the first levels that I will be keeping my eye on is, of course, a 50% retrace of this previous bearish weekly candle. And to give you an exact level, the 50% retrace on the weekly time frame is going to be coming in right around 3,794. We have already reached, if you are trading on weekly candlestick time frames, we have already reached, let's see, I want to make sure here. No, we have not reached it yet. So the 382 Fibonacci retracement would actually be $3,718.95. We have not hit that profit target yet. I would expect us to over the next 24 hours. That is a very, very small leap for Bitcoin to make. I do give the weight to the bulls right now. It does seem that the bulls have the momentum and the strength in their favor right now. Again, we do have to keep our eye very closely on that bid-ask sum, because if we do see a sudden spike in supply at these higher levels, which would be an attractive price to sell at, then we could be seeing a retrace of this movement. All eyes are going to have to be on the lower time frames and really waiting how the next 24 hours are going to play out. Obviously, we've been over the last week, we've been in a pronounced down movement ever since rejecting from the highs at 4,200. If we reject from this level, then most likely we are going to be looking to test the lows. We do not have any significant support below us. Now, if we go down to our lower time frames like the daily, we do have a few key support levels coming in where we could expect to see a bounce. However, I think that those are going to be best suited for scalp plays and potentially, honestly, waiting for the bounce and adding to your short position. But at this time, I'm not hedged anymore. I got stopped out of the hedge on XBT-H19. Being honest, this might not be a bad position. This is not a bad position to be considering placing on a hedge for the XBT-H19 contract to the short side if you are long on the perpetual swap, as I am. I'm not doing that at this time. I do want to see confirmation that this SR flip is not going to happen. I want to make sure before I start putting on my hedge, before I start looking to take profit on my long position, because I'm in the green on it right now. Again, my average entry is down around 3,500. I want to make sure that this level is not going to hold. I need to see confirmed rejection from this level before I start putting on my hedge. And actually, at that point, it would not be a hedge, because I would most likely just be taking profits on my long, or at least reducing my position size, locking in profits, placing my stop loss in a profit level, so above my entry level, and then throwing on my short hedges. But not doing that at this time. I will keep you guys updated. Of course, the premium members are going to get the first update. Now, where do things begin to get more bullish on a weekly time frame? Well, we have that 50% retrace coming in at 37.94, so that is your second profit-taking target. If we're able to close the weekly candle above that level, then I fully expect a retest of the resistance level. That would be on the weekly time frame, that would be a secondary test of the resistance level, not necessarily eschewing a breakthrough at that point in time, because on the higher time frames, we do expect to see 3 to 4 touches on support or resistance before we actually get confirmed breakout. Again, if we go back in time just a little bit, let's hop in the way back machine, guys. If we look back at the year of 2018, we had put in resistance in the $6,000 level, and we had to test once, twice, 3, 4, 5, and then consolidate at that level before breaking down. Many, many signals to be going short from this level. Again, we won't rehash old news. So that is the situation on, sorry, that would have made it a lot easier to see. So that is the situation on the higher time frames. The very short-term targets right now for this week are 37.1895, 37.94. You can have a third target as well for the 618 retracement at $38.69.05. Now, keep in mind, as a trader, one strategy that I would like to impose upon you is that these levels are being watched by bots and other traders. So what should you be doing? You should most likely be trying to front run these positions. So do not take these numbers as gospel. So for example, 37.1895. Maybe you should set your sell order at 37.10. You would have already been filled if you had been buying off the retest, if you had had your bids placed at support, which you should have spaced around the support level. Again, on the weekly time frame, you want to be spacing your buy orders around support. And then what you can do is use a metric like average true range to calculate your stop loss. So from your position size, you can either use, what I like to do is either one ATR below price if I'm going long, one ATR above price if I'm going short, and I measure from swing highs, swing lows. Otherwise, what you can do is if you're going down to the lower time frames to calculate your trade, you can be doing 1 to 2x multiples of ATR and setting your stop at 3.5x ATR. You just want to find what's comfortable and works for you. So I do use multiple scenarios of average true range, but I pretty much exclusively now have adopted average true range as my stop loss metric. I use Fibonacci retracements and volume profile to look for take profit targets as well as momentum. But and there are situations, again, guys, there are situations where that approach to trading is not going to be the best. There are situations and there are trading styles when looking for positional trading, for example, so where you don't necessarily have take profit targets, where you're looking to ride a trend and you're just looking for, if you're strongly trending upwards, you're looking for pullbacks to add to your position. You're looking for, if you're trending strongly to the downside, you are looking for rallies to add to your position in that sense also. And you're waiting for divergence on higher time frames. You're waiting for key support levels. You're waiting for high volume nodes on the volume profile. You're looking at those areas to potentially get out of your trade or reduce your position or take profits, but you're not necessarily setting your buy orders at those levels. Now, 9 times out of 10, I do not trade that way. The reason why is because I find that it leads to sloppy trading. However, I do know individuals that trade that way. It is an acceptable trading strategy as long as it doesn't impair your risk management strategy. But I find that as a trader, I am much more profitable if I have predetermined take profit levels and also if I have predetermined risk levels as well. More so to the risk level being predetermined, I think, is the most important metric. So that's where we sit on the weekly time frames. Tentatively bullish. We do have to give the benefit of the doubt to the bulls at this point in time. I am not seeing the opportunity to be entering into a short yet. I need to see confirmed rejection of this rally. So let's go down to the 24-hour time frame. What do we see on the 24-hour time frame? Exactly what I was talking about when I'm looking for an SR. When I'm looking for an SR flip, we did have this key level of support right here. We have the previous highs of resistance. We have the breakthrough zone. Price came back and retested the breakthrough zone as support, making this level a key support area. Price came down, closed below it, wicked below it, honestly. But again, I could extend this level down a little bit. This is fairly arbitrary the way that I have it drawn, as support zones are going to be. But all I can do is, for example, if I'm being honest, I do see there is a nice bump in the volume profile right here. So I could, by all rights, have moved my support level right down here, looking at that, and I would have had a more successful trade. But let us go back in time a little bit. Let's go right here, and let's see what the volume profile says. Yeah, so the volume profile would have told me the exact same thing. So if I was just using the volume profile for my support levels, yes, I would have had my entry right here. Now, the reason why I had it higher is because I wanted to encapsulate the low wicks of the support test and the high wicks of the resistance zone. All right, and that's fairly congruent with right here, where the, not where the HVN, this is still LVN territory right here, but right where it starts to drop off, that support zone, because I was expecting a liquidity grab to the downside here. But I can see a better positioning of that support level right here. Again, hindsight being 20/20. Because that would have given me a much better entry into Bitcoin's price. Now, we are trading above the previous candle closes of our consolidation and last dump down into the support level right here. So that is classically bullish, guys. There is nothing that screams bearish about this. The only reason why people would be screaming that you have to be entering shorts right here is kind of a tired, there's nothing wrong with them screaming for it. They're just saying that in a downtrend, you look for all rallies as opportunities to put in shorts. But timing is the key thing. And when you see a nice movement like this on Monday, so we started seeing this movement last night when the European traders started going long, and the follow through has been continued with the American traders, as we're seeing right now with the current time zone. So a healthy pullback would not surprise me. We have key levels here to look for as support. So let's actually do a few things here. The first thing I'm going to do is do a Fibonacci extension of this recent movement. And as you can see, our high right here is congruent with our high over here. We have a high on this candle of 3704, and we have a high on this candle of 3704, 3704, 3704.60, and 3704.47. So there is that front running that I was talking about. Okay, so where can we look for a healthy pullback on this candle that is still keeping us in bullish territory? So I'm looking at this level. So this previous consolidation zone where we have an HVN, obviously we had a lot of trading, a lot of consolidation, a lot of redistribution taking hands. And then we have a stop loss hunt for liquidity down below support levels right here. So here is support, traditionally, horizontal support and resistance. And here is previous resistance right here. Price does come down and do a stop loss hunt below those levels, tests liquidity, gets filled up, and boom, price goes up. These are key scenarios to be watching for. Repeatable patterns. And that lines up fairly well with our fib retracement level. Now, typically when I am trading fib retracement levels, if I'm looking for bullish pullbacks, I am looking to enter on a retest of the 382 and the 50% Fibonacci retracement. And those levels, the 382 Fibonacci retracement coming in at 36.1869 and the 50% retracement coming in at 35.9144. So my optimum buy zone. Looking at the volume profile, we do see the potential that price does not get back down that far, because we do have the 236 and the beginning of the HVN beginning really at 36.52. So I'm going to lower that to be more conservative right to the top of these previous candles, the close on this and the open of this candle. So right now my buy zone is slightly above the 382. So again, remember the concept of front running, because other traders are looking at these levels as well, and you do want to be making sure that you get filled. So it's highly recommended that you front run other traders. So those levels are 36.31, 35.94, where I would be looking for a nice pullback and an optimum entry. Where are you invalidated on your trade? Well, honestly, you're invalidated on your trade if price goes below your low. So unfortunately, in this situation, you can be aggressive or you can be conservative. The aggressive placement of your stop loss is going to be below your 618 Fibonacci retracement, so below $35.64.20. I would set that a little bit lower. So I would most likely set that. And again, I'm being arbitrary now. I am fully aware. I'm being arbitrary, but I would set my stop somewhere around 35.50 is most likely where I would have my stop loss set if you're being aggressive. Unfortunately, if you want, not unfortunately, but if you want to play more traditionally, more conservatively, and give yourself more room, your stop loss is going to be below your swing low. Because you're looking at this as a bottom, you're feeling bullish on this movement, you're expecting continued movement to the upside. We have this previous zone, we have this zone to test right here. And actually, I'm going to redraw these levels out for the benefit of everybody here. And you also have your Fibonacci extensions as well. So you have potential upside to 37.95. You have potential upside to 38.22. And breaking through all that, you also have potential upside as high as 4,000, 4,033 based on your Fibonacci extensions of that movement. Now, that would be putting your stop loss below 3,400, or below 3,500. So you can be more aggressive and set your stop loss around 34.95 or at the low of this candle. So the low of this candle is actually coming in at 35.06. But the more traditional way to place your stop loss would actually be below the swing low. If you wanted to be a little bit more precise, if you wanted to do something that I would most likely do, would be doing something like going down to the hourly chart and throwing on something like average true range. See that average true range is $30, so we're going to take the swing low right here and measure down 30 bucks. So 34.45, which is actually a little bit lower than the arbitrary stop loss that I had placed. Now, what's the very bullish scenario? If we go down, now that we're here on the lower time frames, we can actually see, just based off horizontal support and resistance, we do have the point of control coming in at 36.32. That is another area to be looking for that, retracement to. Let's see how that lines up with our Fibonacci extensions. Excuse me, our Fibonacci retracements. Yeah, so that level right in between the 236 and the 382, right at the top of the high volume node area right there for the very bullish pullback. Again, I'd still be looking here in this green zone as I plotted out in between 36.31 and 35.90 for a nice pullback. This is where I would have buy orders spaced. If we're able to hold this level, if we're able to actually see this horizontal support and resistance flip, then let's look at our upside targets. All right. So we have an HVN coming in and starting right around 3,700. So right where we faced initial resistance, just where we faced initial resistance on the high of this daily candle right here. That was, as I said, front run on this current daily candle. So getting back up into this area is not going to most likely be a big pump. We have shallow pockets of the volume profile right here. We pumped very easily through this shallow pocket. What was impressive is that we didn't get rejection from this HVN right here. So this HVN now becomes support where it was resistance as it was underhead. This HVN right here now becomes resistance as it became support when price was overhead, until we broke through it, tested liquidity, formed this HVN right here with our first test of support, previous resistance. Price consolidated in a bullish fashion, moved upwards. And again, the big mistake that I made was not putting on my shorts when my initial analysis told me to do so. If you guys have been watching the stream, I had been plotting out this channel where I said for weeks that I wanted to be putting on, not for weeks, but for a week. No, for weeks, where I said I wanted to be putting on shorts in this channel because it's worked out well for me twice before. And the third test of a resistance line is often confirmation of that resistance or confirmation of that trend. When you see a fourth and a fifth test of a trend line, of a resistance line, you can be looking for opportunities for it to break through. You want to be more tentative. Most individuals will tell you that 3 touches on a trend line is confirmation, so you should be taking your trade on the fourth. I find that, again, I front run conventional wisdom and I look as 2 touches on a trend line as not confirmation, but a good indicator that the third touch is going to have a nice predictable reaction. So that is my big mistake for trading Bitcoin 2019. That's my first mistake. Now, it hasn't really impaired my losses whatsoever. I did take a stop loss on the long that I had open from this level on up to this level, did not reach my take profit targets up here at the next resistance zone, did not break through. And clearly looking back, there was a lot happening that should have told me to be out of that position. Unfortunately, and I can make all the excuses that I want in the world, the reality of the situation is I had a lot of stuff going on with my family. Things have been a little hectic at home. And it's only been recently that I've been able to calm my schedule down, calm everything down in my normal life, and return to active trading. And I'm sure you can ask the premium members. All right, guys. So continuing on. We have the point of control on the daily chart coming in on the wider time frame. So looking at this range that we've been trading in, we have the point of control coming in at $3,788. So that is the level for me. That is the make or break point for bullishness. Because again, 1, 2, 3 tests of the trend line. If price is able to make it above 37.88, I will add to my long position. I will increase my long position. And if price makes it, as price moves further into this short channel, I will be this time putting on shorts. Although I know in advance there is a heightened risk if Bitcoin does make it back up into that channel that it actually will invalidate the channel on the 4th test. But I will not make the same mistake twice. I will follow my original analysis and give the trend the benefit of the doubt, because that is how you successfully trade. Even if it doesn't play out for me, even if it costs me money, again, not a lot, I'll actually profit more because it will just be a hedge, because I will still have my long position open because I will have added to my position on the close above the point of control. Even if it costs me money and Bitcoin does end up breaking and moving to retest 4,300, I will be okay, and I'll be calm and secure because I'll know exactly what my strategy was. I'll know exactly why I was wrong. The fact that I was wrong will not hurt me that much because my trade will still have a predetermined risk level. So if I lose, I will only lose the allocation of my portfolio that I allow myself to lose. And I will still be profiting on my increased long position, which would be more heavy at that point in time. Okay, let's go down to the hourly chart to conclude our analysis of Bitcoin for this morning. So just looking at the current range right here, we have broken above the HVN of consolidation right here. This forms our entry position right here, this entry buy zone right here. The point of control, looking for a retest of the point of control, and you can see that that is why I do want to have buy orders spaced right there. The retest of the point of control if we do see that. Now, what do we see? What do we see here on the hourly time frame? We do see a bearish pin bar reversal candles, a bearish pin bar candlestick pattern where we have a swing high, we have a pin bar candlestick to the upside, trading higher than our previous high. And then on the right side, we see a lower high. So lower high, higher high, lower high, where the middle is shaped with a long pin bar, in this case, a evening star reversal candle. So this is a situation where we would expect to see a healthy retracement. Again, a lot of buying in this zone, fall off of volume in this consolidation period, more than likely distribution taking place right here. So we will wait and see how healthy this movement is. If we break below these levels, if we end up closing down below 30, I'm going to say 3,600 to be safe. So 3,600, that is the bottom of my entry zone. If we close candles, especially 4-hour or 6-hour candles below that zone, this pump will be invalidated, and I will be looking to put on my shorts and take profit, because that will be pulling me back down to roughly back down to break even, slight profit on my XBT USD long position, and I will be putting on my short hedges at that point in time if we end up closing below. So, however, I don't trade my opinion, but if I were to trade my opinion, I'm feeling pretty bullish about this movement, guys. All right, so there's the XBT USD analysis. Hopefully that has been helpful for you guys. Again, remember that if you are trading futures derivatives, that you do need to take into account the price aggregate and do the calculation over there. Price will be slightly different, about $100 different on BitMEX. A little bit different on Kraken, depending on obviously if you're trading the euro pairing as well, it's going to be wildly different. So. But the movements are going to be the same. All right, let's get to the chat, guys. A lot of chat this morning, man. Anis Sobai says, the first good call from the Bitcoin fund manager. That's funny, guys. Oh, lifestyle combat. No, I meant years to come or what? Oh, yeah, man. I'm going to be doing this in 10 years, bro. Absolutely. I've been actively trading for 10 years. I've been actively trading for a little over a decade now, actually. I've been profitable for 8 years. So it took about, I'm a slow learner. I'm a slow learner, but when I do learn, it's in there. So it took me about 2 years of losing money. I don't have, again, I made like every mistake in the book for the first 2 years. In fact, I am absolutely confident that I invented some mistakes when I started trading. But luckily, I was able to find a mentor, learn trading. My parents had been educating me in investing, stocks, money management since I was a teenager. So never, never been in debt. Never been in credit card debt or anything like that. Again, it's just all in how you educate your children. So, children will mimic whatever they see as they grow up. So I have friends, not friends. I have peers, who are in a lot of debt, and their children, and so I have, okay, so let me actually give you a lot of the people that I went, you have to think about like where I grew up. Again, I grew up in the Midwest. So I have a lot of friends whose parents were fairly heavily in debt because most of the job opportunities in my area are going to be something like factory work. They're going to be something like just lower middle class jobs. Not a lot of wealth management education, not a lot of wealth to manage in these areas. And the public school system has done a fantastic job of neutering individuals, generations actually, understanding of wealth, capitalism, entrepreneurship, risk management, money management, investing. I mean, you should be taught how to invest in middle school. You should begin thinking about that. You should have again, my children, my older children have an allowance. They have to keep track of their money. They have to do tasks to earn money. And it's not your traditional allowance. If they don't do their jobs, they don't get their allowance. They are responsible for buying their own things pretty much all the time exclusively. I have taught them about investing. We continue to learn about investing. I look for opportunities at every venture to teach them about capitalism, entrepreneurship, about how to be responsible, take personal responsibility for their decisions. My daughter is 10, and I'm working with her now at this age on her plans for what she wants to be as an adult. And again, I'm not a perfect person, but I just see personally a lot of failures in traditional approaches to parenting where I think a lot of people have just been trained to think that the state and institutions will take care of them. I don't want anybody to take care of me. I want to make it on my own. I want to be successful. I want to make my own rules. I want to provide value to other individuals. I want to surround myself with individuals that provide value to me. I want to be challenged. I want to grow. I want to learn. I want to seek knowledge. And that's the mission that I've been on since I was 13, really. A lot of bumps in the road on the way, guys. But so not really sure how I got into that. But yeah, I'll be doing this definitely for as long as they keep me. I try to stick away from saying controversial things a lot because I do want to protect the platform. I know that YouTube, Twitter, Twitch not so much. Twitch is pretty raunchy sometimes, guys, with some of the stuff that's on there. So I'm not too worried about Twitch. I don't think they're very far to the politically correct side. But again, I try to steer away from a lot of controversial political topics that I would like to speak upon, if people know me more personally. Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion asks or says, I sold my BTC on Binance. Price is 4,450 today into True USD. Today, now the price has taken off. Would you hold and wait for a better price or sell now? In other words, will Bitcoin go back down? Okay, so I'm just trying to... So it sounds like what you're saying is you went into TUSD. If you went into Bitcoin, Hold on a second. I don't know what the ticker is for True USD. I've never traded that stuff. Maybe it's just not on TradingView. Unless you mean Tether. Let me see if I can get coin signals up. Maybe that will show me. Hey, I don't know what that ticker is, man. So I'm looking at True USD to Bitcoin. Current price is 00027, not 27278. Seems pretty low, man. Again, this isn't my market. I play with USDT and USD on my spot exchanges, and then XBT on MEX. So I don't want to speak overly about something that I'm not perfectly familiar with, because I just haven't looked a lot into True USD. But I'll just answer the second part of your question, which you had surmised as, in other words, will Bitcoin go down? So, sorry, let me just get my chart up here. So I am feeling pretty bullish about this movement, actually. I'm not, and again, I could be wrong. I could, again, I'll be watching the markets fairly closely today. Again, today is an active trading day. I only have about 3 positions open right now. And again, we just need to wait. Again, it's just like I said, if price does end up closing below here, I'll most likely be looking to exit my long position and put on shorts. For right now, I feel fairly bullish about this. So if you're looking for where I would re-enter, I just spent quite a while talking about that between 35.94 and 36.31. Cogito, ergo, zoom. Hey, mooning, ugh. Hey, sometimes you got to go with the clickbait titles, man. Zuhar Nakfi, yes, that is TradingView. Question, is it possible for a large institution to dump a shit ton of money into a market buy the same way they can dump without warning? Well, yeah, it's absolutely possible. Anybody can click the market buy button. Institutions have the same access to it as regular traders. You're just not going to see a lot of institutions do that because they're not going to be okay with slippage. Charlie Wen asks, what's your opinion on the chart? Are we heading higher? It looks like that was a suckers rally, and we're still going down to about 3,300 before a bounce. Potentially. Could happen. I would love to see that surprise gotcha to all the predictors and traders get rec shorts. 4,100 by end of today. Right on, man. I like it. Hey, thanks, Fabricator. Hey, there's some good. I think you guys are throwing some shade on Crypto Kirby right now, man. But there's some good educational material out there, guys. There's some good streamers. Not a lot, but some of them are out there. Yeah, I know, Christian. Excuses, excuses. You guys are getting in deep about deep mind, artificial intelligence. I like it, guys. Zoltak Zoltan. Hey, good afternoon, man. Mark D says, I spent. Oh, I got to read that live on the air, but the other 10% waste. You're funny, man. Joey V. Hey, good morning to you, man. Exposed says, I invest in Verge as often as possible. Top of the morning to you too, Joey V. Mark D sounds like a boring life. Yeah, man. Parenting, dude. I feel you, pod nuts. I appreciate that, man. Thanks, Lifestyle Combat. When Moon, when Lambo, 2020, man. Do you think it will be long before traditional market traders or institutions start to seriously hedge into Bitcoin relating to the continued drop of the traditional markets? You know, we got a lot of, there's definitely a lot of work to be done, man. I don't want to be overly fundamentally bullish and say that adoption is just right around the corner, that institutions are coming in. Again, this is something that I've kind of been talking about for a long time, which is the fact that, sorry, let's go down to the 5-minute chart. It's a little bit more exciting. Which is the fact that, brain fart, which is the fact that we are seeing a lot of over-the-counter trading, more over-the-counter trading volume than traditional volume and traditional exchanges. So the amount of accumulation taking place on over-the-counter desks is quite impressive. There is, remember guys, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. I don't even get me into the fallacious and salacious, really, if you want to be honest. What's the word I'm looking for? I've heard people say that, well, you can just fork Bitcoin so you can have 42 million and then, blah, 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 blah. That's not how it works. That's not Bitcoin. That's a fork of Bitcoin. I mean, look at Bitcoin Diamond, look at Bitcoin Gold. Nobody uses that crap. There's not 42 million Bitcoin. There's 21 million Bitcoin. It's a different chain. Nobody uses it. It's a dead project, man. Like, stop it. Just stop it. So yeah. It's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin, and it matters who has that Bitcoin, because if you have a very long-term view, then you want to be accumulating Bitcoin. When the bull run comes, guys, let's not forget this, because when price is low like this, everybody just looks at USD value. But let me remind you that when the bull run comes, and believe you me, it is coming, you do want to have more Bitcoin than you want to have as much Bitcoin as humanly possible. So having a balanced approach, I think, is a good strategy. So let's see here. I do want to give some shout outs here. Aramoto, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch, man. Highly appreciated. And YouTube. Let's see here. John R. and Dave Coleman Jr., thank you so much for the subs on YouTube. What are the top 5 coins in my portfolio? Bitcoin and Ethereum. not looking at any speculative plays on small cap coins. I do want to see a confirmed trend reversal because in a bear market, price can always get lower. Interesting trolling from To the Moon. So there are reports on OTC volume from OTC trading desks. Not all of them. Of course, OTC desks are not required to report their volume, but some do report their volume. You can go back a few videos ago. I actually go over this. There should be links in the description, or you could just do a Google search, man. Hey, thanks, AJ. Boston, Vegas. Hey, good morning to you guys. The true colors. Hey, thanks, Bolinath. I try to work on the hair. It ran away a long time ago. Yeah, let's take a look at Chainlink, guys. Not sure. I mean, I understand what you're saying, Summit. Yeah, you're right. But RBF is still a thing. Replaced by Fee is still a thing. You can still push RBF. You can still push RBF updates to your Bitcoin transactions. So anything about Bitcoin is a static. Anything can be changed. It's dynamic. Yeah, of course, man. Hey, Dave Coleman. I just made and lost one whole Bitcoin last month and lost 8.85 this morning. Ouch, man. I need to get better at this. So here I am. Well, hey, here we are, bro. How do you notice when the peak is reached to sell and how far does the price go down again to buy? A lot of practice. Sometimes you can't always get it right, man. You can look for a lot of things, momentum. I didn't ignore your comments, man. I responded to you. Let's see here. So I want to stick with Alexander. So how do you notice when the peak is reached to sell and how far does price go down again to buy? So I'll show you strategies that I use, for example. Again, I went over the full Bitcoin analysis for about an hour earlier. So Fibonacci retracements, volume profile, key support, horizontal levels of support and resistance. So for example, you can also look at candlestick patterns. You can look at the momentum on lower time frames. Again, I know a lot of people don't like doing it, but when you're seeing a highly volatile movement and you're looking for something like a peak high or a swing high, you do have to be on your lower time frames if you want to actually capture the movement. When price is moving in a range, looking at lower time frames are more often than not just going to get you wrecked. Unless you're trading with a very tight risk management strategy using a momentum oscillator, which is the time and place to be trading with a momentum oscillator. When price is trending, momentum oscillators are not going to serve you very well because your RSI, your stochastic, they can be as overbought or oversold as you want. They become more efficient when looking at things like divergence. So measuring from swing high to swing low, Fibonacci retracements, looking how those have confluence with previous support and resistance levels. So for example, right now, we have a resistance zone right here. that is getting confluence with the point of control on the volume profile, as well as the HVN on the volume profile as well. I did a Fibonacci retracement of this level. The key areas that I look for entry and exit, sorry. So right here, my bad. The key areas that I look for entry and exit are areas like 382 and 50%, stop loss generally below 618. I see that I have amazing confluence there with the point of control, previous resistance, Fibonacci retracements, HVN. So there I have 3 to 4 levels of confluence that give me confidence that this area in between 3,600 and 36, let's call it 3,640, are the areas that I want to be keeping my eye on for a potential re-entry on a pullback. And as far as when to sell, you can be looking at lower time frames. You can be looking for, again, retests of resistance. I mean, the basic rule of thumb, if you want to keep it very simple, if I just wanted to condense 10 years of trading into about a 5-minute speed, into about a 3-second monologue, long support and short resistance. So you're looking for previous areas of resistance to take profit at. You're looking for previous areas of support to buy. And if resistance gets broken, you look for retests for it to become support. You look for support resistance flips to double up on your positions or re-enter. You can look for Fibonacci retracements to re-enter. A lot of ways to trade it, man. Let's see here. Mike Marcus says, hey, buddy, be interested in hearing your thoughts on the likelihood of Bitcoin hitting 4,000. Do you think it hits 4,000 before heading down to tentative support at 3,200? So I've talked about this before. Just going back to that daily analysis, looking at the momentum right now, the main thing that I'm focused on right now as a trader is this SR flip right here. So on the longer time frames, just looking for this SR flip right here, this area that I'm looking to re-enter at right here. If we end up closing below the 618 Fibonacci retracement, then I'm going to be throwing on my shorts again. And if that does happen, then I don't really think that I do have this area here as support because there is a spike in the HVN, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me as far as the bottom. If this level holds, I mean, we've had pretty much a 50% retrace of the entire movement now so far. So if we close below that, let's get some actual numbers because I want to quantify things for you. Quantify or die. So yeah, we're actually below the 50% retracement of the entire movement. That number is actually 3681. We came back down to the 618 Fibonacci retracement, tested it, are holding it so far currently. So if we're, again, below this 50% Fibonacci retracement, again, traditionally I should actually be bearish, but just based on current momentum, I'm going to play the long side right now. As I talked about, where am I going to be short? I talked about that earlier in the video. So again, rewind if you want to see the full analysis. Sorry for the guys coming in late. I just go over this for such a long time at the beginning of the video. Yeah, so if this level doesn't hold right here, if this previous support, previous resistance turns support flip doesn't hold, then I actually don't think that we're going to bottom at these levels. These levels are where I'm going to be taking bounce trades or looking to add to my hedge on those bounces. But if we do end up going down, then more than likely we're going to go lower than yearly highs. I find that extremely likely. The reason why is because there's a lot of liquidity down here. So you're going to have a lot of traders buying the dip and you're going to have to get them liquidated so that institutions can fill their position. So people that are going to be buying here and here are going to be placing their stop loss below the yearly low. And for any individuals that do really want to fill up on the next long trade, we're going to have to push price down lower. So I would expect a wick down to this level right here, potentially as low down as 29.38. But kind of below that level is where I start looking for the long-term bearish targets in between 27.98 and 22.45. Again, weekly time frame, I do have my ultimate bottom, or at least not the ultimate bottom, but just the level, because Bitcoin can bottom here. But the ultimate target that I'm looking at for 23.31, that's the next level that makes sense to me if we do end up opening and closing weekly candles below 3,000. Summit says, I made that comment and replied to the 21 million cap. It can be changed. Yeah, it can. Thoughts on XRP? Hey, Francisco Cancino, what's going on, man? Hey, I appreciate the hookup, man. Highly appreciate it. I was showing my homeboys the shoes the other day, man. Thank you so much, man. Shenek says, if the world economy is crashing in recession, how will Bitcoin respond in comparison to gold? Well, gold will definitely be a strong investment. Gold's a strong, ZAO USD is a strong trade now. You should be filling up your ZAO bags, man. It's not like some kind of like suckers rally, all right, on ZAO. That's a genuinely good hedge against the market. Bitcoin is going to be obviously more speculative in nature. Obviously, if you're looking at the charts just based on fundamentals, Bitcoin's at attractive prices, man, to be adding to long-term positions. Bitcoin's at attractive prices. You're obviously much safer waiting for a confirmation of a bullish trend reversal. So, although it sucks because you want to buy price at a premium, as long as price is below 6,000, you still have to assume that price is bearish. Now, there are a lot of things that can, there are several things that can flip my current sentiment from just range trading the market into opening up long-term directional positions. That's going to be a daily close above my resistance zone level right here that I'm talking about, around that 4,288 level. And a weekly open and close above that level would be a very strong indication for me, or if we get back above 6K. Again, timing is important and patience in the markets is necessary, because buying down here, as we've seen in the bear market, guys, here's the thing. If we retrace, if we just look back all year long, every time people were at the bottom, they're like, buy now, fill your bags, it's going to the moon. All right, well, you could have traded it. It was a fine trade. Buy now, going to the moon. You could have traded it. Buy now, going to the moon. A lot of people got squeezed. Buy now, it's going to the moon. I don't know, man. Need to see some proof. Because classically, we're just making lower highs on the daily. So I'd like to see a higher high on the daily. Would be nice. Higher high on the daily, step one. Break above resistance on the weekly or daily time frame, step two, or ultimately back above 6K would be the last nail in the coffin. Now, I'm not saying I would have to wait until we're back above 6K to start opening up long-term directional longs, but that's when you can be really comfortable entering into your long positions. Let's see here. So TA, XRP, a lot of requests for XRP. So yeah, we'll look at XRP and we'll take a quick look at Ethereum. AJJ RAM up. So I'll look at XRP. Owen Waka Waka asks, hey, good day. Hey, what's going on, man? Can you explain how to short? I'm new at Kraken and super confused between sell stop loss and buy stop loss. So I'm gonna have to make a video on Kraken. Essentially, and again, I'm not super familiar with Kraken. I just went over this last night with one of the premium members. So let me pull up Kraken. I'm actually going to log into my account. Or actually, I don't even have to do that. I'll just pull up because I had written it all down for his benefit. Sorry guys, I got a lot of DMs in the I got a lot of DMs. I will get to you guys as soon as the show's done. Okay, let me find that. Who was that? Yeah, right here. All right, so setting up a short on Kraken using the Advanced Customs tab. Your order is going to be sell. You select your leverage. Volume, that's going to be your limit. Start now. Order type limit expires. Good till canceled. Limit price, desired entry level, and post limit order, click. For your conditional close, you're going to select stop loss. You're going to put in your stop loss price. And then for your take profit, you're going to select a new order. Buy the volume amount, which is your quantity. Start now, good till canceled, take profit, level to take profit at, and no conditional close. And you just flip that around for setting up a long on Kraken. I know Kraken's kind of confusing for people. It was actually confusing for me when I looked at the interface because I wasn't super familiar with it until I got a lot of questions about how to use it. So still have to refer to my cheat sheet though, because I just don't trade on there. Shit, I was supposed to take a look at Link. Sorry guys, a lot going on in the chat this morning. So Link, XRP. Oh, and you might want to hit me up in the Discord, man. I'll link you up with a couple guys that use Kraken, and they'll be able to help you out a little bit more. Truth Bombs, hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, sometimes the clickbait titles work. Craig Templar, pretty much word for word. I don't know. Obviously, I'm familiar with the guy. I don't spend a lot of time watching other analysis. I'm pretty sure that we're fairly different in how we talk about TA. But looking for the key levels and just being honest about what you need to see for trend reversal it's pretty common sense. Not common sense, I guess. Let's see here. It is said that only one ever existing 21 million Bitcoin. There will not be enough for all millionaires and ISA in Canada. Scott, turn your autocorrect on, man. Bullish fatal. Stop loss at 0. You guys are funny. All right, so let's look at chain. And chain had that nice blow off top, new all-time highs, man. So when you make new all-time highs, you have to assume that price will continue to make new all-time highs. So the last time that I had looked at Link, was right down here, posited in the support level right here. We actually ended up wicking down that a little bit. I had drawn this descending channel. You can see we broke out from that and hit all the take profit targets to the upside. Hey, no problem, Owen. Happy to help out, man. Hit all the take profits to the upside. So when price does something like this, it's very easy. Just buy Stellar and then sell the Stellar when it goes up in price. I can't believe I never thought of that, man. Amazing. You've cracked the code. All right. Is coin market cap down? I don't know, man. All right, so let's look at this bad boy. So you've had a nice parabolic movement. Now I don't do any of the Elliott wave stuff, guys. So I'm not going to be like, well, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. Could be an ABC wave, but unless it's truncated, and then it can just turn into a zigzag on the higher time frames, et cetera, et cetera. That stuff. I mean, listen, I don't do the show. I don't cast shade on people. I don't resent anybody that's out there making a living, or try to cast aspersions on anybody, but I don't know anybody that actively uses Elliott waves in a profitable fashion, really. I mean, seriously, I know a lot of people, and that's because I get comments and people are like, well, Elliott waves tell you exactly where price is going to go. Okay, in hindsight, they do, but as far as actionable trading, like entries and exits, when you look at Elliott wave charts, what they do is they give you a really, really, really broad buy range and a very wide stop on big time frames. And for most traders, that's just not fucking helpful. It's just not. And Elliott wave analysis ends up panning out like maybe 25% of the time. You want to be a successful trader, you at least need a strategy that's profitable 30% of the time, not 25%. That's too low. It's got to be at least 25%. All right, so let's take a look at this volume profile, my friend. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Let's do a fixed range. So we're going to measure, because there was a lot of shenanigans here. So we're just going to measure from the low to the high. Get a good volume profile. Okay. Excuse me. Hey, Chris Kruger. Thanks for watching, man. Highly appreciate it. Thanks for the sub. Digi Dave, thanks for the sub on YouTube as well, man. Sorry, I don't have my headphones on, so I can't really hear stuff. I can't pronounce your name, man, but Queedy, thanks for the follow on Twitch, bro. Highly appreciate it. When Bitcoin's in red, sell for Stellar. When Stellar's bigger green, sell for Bitcoin. How much paper money should I make before going to real money? Oh, so you're asking how successful... Working on my neck beard. You guys are funny. So like how much paper trading should you do before you go to real money? It's all about confidence, man. If you feel you've got a strategy that you've back tested and it's successful and you've calculated your risk management strategy, man, I'd say at least 3 to 6 months of paper trading before you should even consider real trading. Mike Marcus, sorry, buddy, I didn't phrase my question correctly. To ask it in another way, do you think this current Bitcoin rally can realistically hit 4,000, or do you think there's too much resistance ahead? Well, I mean, if we go back to retest that channel zone, then yeah, that's putting us in the $4,000 range. Now, are we going to go up there? Are we going to go back down to test for liquidity below 3,200 first? That's going to kind of depend on the next 48 hours. Okay. Fibonacci retracement of the entire movement. Fibonacci retracement of the local movement. Let's see if we got some confluence. Not a whole lot of confluence, honestly. So looking at the higher time frames, you've got your support level coming in right around here, around previous resistance. That previous resistance really starts here between your 382 and your 50% Fibonacci retracement on your recent swing high. So that's going to put you between 10,588 Satoshis or 9,695 Satoshis. That's your bullish aggressive entry. You'd have your stop loss for that below your 618 Fibonacci retracement. So that is going to be pretty much an invalidation of the upper levels of support right here. So you'd be setting your stop loss under 88,000 Satoshis. If you come back down, this is a parabolic movement, so you would expect a 50% retrace of the entire movement. That would be pulling you back down to 7,949. The wider targets, obviously. So pretty much right where your stop loss begins on the wider time frames, on the wider horizon between your 382 and your 50% retracement is going to be putting you back to your point of control. Your point of control coming in around 8,142 with your stop loss down here below your swing low. So in a situation like this, what I like to do with Link is obviously let profits ride. Depending on where you entered, you definitely want to be trailing your stop up. You're more than likely going to see a pullback at this level. Because we've made new all-time highs. So now what we really need to see is if our all-time highs are going to act as support, in which case we can see another bullish upthrust. Again, the extension that we're getting off those. So Fibonacci extensions off of those, which is the only way that we can now measure take profit targets. I mean, there's nothing above us now to measure for new targets. So the only thing you can do is Fibonacci extensions. You can go up as high as 16,126 Satoshis, 17,408 Satoshis. A 50% extension of the entire movement would be putting you up around 19,059. Now, I'm not calling for that. I do need to see this higher level that has been broken hold as resistance, because more often than not, in this market, when I see things like this, I start to feel pretty bullish pretty quick, and this starts to look like an amazing time to take profit. So, Link really been one of those overperformers, honestly, guys, up 600% since July 2018. So fantastic. Congratulations to everybody who invested in Link. I know 4chan is fucking rich right now. 4chan is fucking rich, man. So shout out to all the 4chaners in there, man. Hopefully Biz is doing well this morning. Hopefully they're just going insane, Jonah Hill style. But yeah. I mean, the traditional bias is when you see price making new all-time highs, you have to assume it will continue to make higher highs until you get invalidation, until you get a big blow off top. Let's take a look and see what the Fisher's doing. All right, so no divergence on the Fisher on the daily chart. Let's see if we get any divergence on the 3-day chart. All right, so we'll have to wait and see how we peak here on the 3-day chart, getting a little bit of bearish divergence on this movement. Just a little bit. ATR is extremely high. Volatility is extremely high. Looking at the HD transformer, we're about to become overbought, just like we were overbought in this range right here. Time transformer, or excuse me, the Fisher actually called it a little bit better right here. So when you're at a price level like this, you don't have a lot of options, guys. You don't have a lot of options. We can look at waning momentum. So look at the strength, look at the momentum of this bullish candlestick, look at the momentum of this bullish candlestick, look at the momentum of this bullish candlestick. It does seem like price is getting weaker and there is a little bit of volume divergence. We pretty much have our blow off top right here. So one way to look at this is an SFP. So an SFP right here, where we put in a high right at previous resistance, where we put in resistance right at a previous all-time high. We pull back, have a nice healthy retracement off that movement, 382 retracement off that movement. And then we go up and make a higher high, could be an SFP. Confirmation of that's going to be really, it's hard to tell, man. So your first bullish support level here, which I assume is going to be a 382. Yeah, 382 and 50% Fibonacci retracement is going to be your previous resistance right here. That level holds, you're obviously extremely bullish and you are looking at these upside targets. If price closes below that, you're looking for confirmation to enter, because the retracement on this, if this is a top, the retracement on this should be at least a 50% retracement. If you look at all these parabolic movements, you get a 50% retracement, parabolic movement, 50% retracement. And again, rewind the video, I talked about those levels right there. So, I don't buy into the top, man. I do want to see price consolidate at this level and see if we enter into distribution. If we see clear signs of distribution, then more than likely the top is in, and we're expecting that 50% parabolic movement retracement. If we get we just got to wait and see, man. If we get a bullish bounce off previous resistance, then we've got upside targets. But my gut is definitely, and again, I don't trade my opinion, I just have to trade the technicals, but my gut would definitely be telling me, clearly, look, looks like a great place to sell, man. just don't think we're in the right market cycle. Now, I could be wrong, man. I guess Link could be the next Bitcoin, man. But when I see the top, when I see price at a top, and I see a huge blow off top in volume like that, it generally says to me that buyers are probably pretty exhausted. I mean, look at that huge volume spike right there. And then we get another little upthrust on lowered volume. You know, that's quite different from a nice volume spike here at the bottom. We get nice continuation follow through, another nice bigger volume spike, more follow through. But again, you see the same thing. When we get a blow off top like this, we have a huge volume spike at the top of an uptrend, and we get a candle that looks like this. We get a reversal style candle, we get a pullback. Same thing over here. We get an indecision candle right at the top. Nice pullback, evening star candle, pullback. Pretty much a shooting star candle right there, consolidation. And right now we've got a Darth Maul candle, so we'll just have to wait and see how the daily closes. Just wait for a few days. But I don't see any indications that I want to buy here. I do not like buying at market tops. I'd be looking for pullbacks on Link, but again, just not something that I want to speculate on right now, honestly. If you're in Link, let it ride, man. If you're in Link, let it ride. Update your stop loss, put your stop loss right here, right below your swing low, and let that baby ride. And when you start seeing a candle that looks like this, look to lock in those profits, and then look at those key levels to re-enter. Volume profile, Fibonacci retracements. Is it possible that time has moved faster with the addition of the iPhone people into the market? Potentially, yeah, man. You know, I've been a hater on Link, man. God. Good performing asset, though, man. Ripple. So in a Ripple short from 96, and I've got this point of control coming up on the hourly chart. So until price closes above that, I'm still gonna hold the short open. Took some profit down here, but I'm holding it out for lower targets. Or excuse me, actually, we took what was it, 8,800? Yeah, 8,800. Took some profits at 8,800. Let me double check that, make sure that's correct. I gotta go back and look at that trade. 8806. Yep, 8806. Took profits at 8806. Still gonna hold it open. If price gets back above that point of control and starts closing above it, then I'm probably gonna go ahead and cover my short. The last of my position that I've held open. I'll be happy with that. Actually, let's not delete that. I'm just going to hide that for that way it's not cluttering up my chart. Yeah, if price gets back above the point of control here on XRP-H19, I'll go ahead and cover my short. And I was doing quite a bit of analysis on XRP-BTC last night. This is a chart I was staring at quite a bit last night. And It does seem bullish to me, man. So let's look at the technicals. So resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, broken on the third test. Resistance broken on the third test. Touch, consolidation, higher high, pullback, higher low. What's the Fisher doing? Fisher bottoms right here at 2 standard deviations away from price, which is historically the best time to buy Ripple. Curling up after a little bit of consolidation at these lower oversold prices. Moving up to 1 standard deviation below price. Nice pump candle right now, just like everything else. A 1.88% candle movement. And it looks quite similar to Bitcoin, honestly, on the higher time frames. You have previous resistance in your consolidation. You're looking to be closing above that. Let's go down to the lower time frames. Yeah, this actually looks like it's about to pop. I've talked about this pattern a lot of times before, guys. Support, support, higher low, consolidating at resistance, pop. Keep my eye on this one pretty closely. I got to stick to my guns. I got to stick to my guns and assume that on the futures platform that this is going to hold as resistance until it gets violated. So I might go ahead and throw on a hedge. And if Bitcoin, or excuse me, if Ripple goes ahead and closes like right here, I might go ahead and throw on that hedge and just spot buy Ripple and hold my short open and look to cover if we get up here. Yeah, daily chart looks ready, man. Daily chart does look ready. About a 7.5% trade. You know, found support right here. Point of control is still way below us, honestly, on the higher time frames, but that's okay. Let's just look at this. Let's just look at this movement. All right, so if we just take into account the recent price movement, so the recent cycle, so swing high to swing low to swing high, and back down to swing low. Yeah, price is looking to close the daily above the point of control. Yeah, I think I'll probably keep I'm going to keep my eye on this one on the lower time frame. So since we're right at that point of control, yeah, we're closing above it too on the hourly time. Let me make sure I'm taking the right amount of market data into account. Yeah, got that point of control at 90.66. Zoomed out. Yeah, 90.59. It moved down a little bit if I only take recent data into account. But yeah, closing above that point of control. Yeah, and that daily Fisher is oversold. Daily Fisher's oversold and turning up. It does look like a good play, man. Yeah, I think I might throw that trade on. All right, keep your eyes open for the premium trading group, guys. Let's look if I see any opportunities for USDT as well. I'd prefer to take the trade in USDT, but the chart just doesn't look the same. So this is what I was looking at last night. I told you guys I was looking at XRP USDT. I was looking at Ripple quite a bit last night. Didn't pull the trigger on that one. That's all right. So now I'll wait to see on USDT. I'll wait to see if this original analysis plays out, and then I'm going to look for that support resistance flip. Same thing that I basically look for all the time. Does resistance turn into support? Does that support make sense? Is it confluent with volume profile? Is there volume behind the movement? What is the Fisher doing? Calm, easy, patient trading, guys. Missed opportunities are saved money. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I appreciate the moderation, guys. Thank you so much. Michael Nunzio, yeah, listen, RSI is not going to be extremely helpful after a huge volatile move like that. The reason why is because price is no longer ranging necessarily. So when you have a period of consolidation and then two pretty drastic moves with followed by low periods of volatility, your RSI's look back period, depending on, unless you're adjusting your look back period to only take into account the volatility that you want it to take into account, it's going to be all over the place, man. So why there's certain times in the market where you want to use a momentum oscillator and certain times where you don't, and you also want to zoom out to a higher time frame. So again, I use this. So this is RSI. This is perfected RSI using John Neller's Hamadime discriminator algorithm. So this actually calculates the wavelength of RSI and then applies the Fisher transform algorithm to it. So it converts it into a sine wave and not a square wave. So I do get less overbought and oversold. So when I get a signal like that, I can be fairly confident to take it. So yeah, if we look at Bitcoin, for example. Exactly. So if we look at Bitcoin, for example, like on the daily chart, if we look at the Fisher transform, and if we look at the auto RSI or my HD transformer, we're actually seeing oversold on -1% right here on the higher time frames and curling up on both. So getting that bullish crossover. Just doing the Fisher crossover strategy, which is a strategy that I teach people how to do. Can make a lot of money doing that. Hey, Yeeter, what's going on, man? Hey, Sanjeev, it's available to premium members. Do I trade the FTSE 100? No, not anymore, man. Nope, not actively trading traditional markets. Neo Gaming. Thoughts on Neo? Has had a great 4 weeks of higher highs. Yeah, we traded Neo. We took 20% profits on Neo. Let me pull up my trading journal. Let's see, Neo. Yeah, okay, so my original entries on Neo were 2019-25, and we took profits at 2,300 was initial profits. That was 1795, and then 2570 is what's in the trade journal. Let me make sure that's right. Oh, just 2,300. We didn't reach 2570. Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, that's just that was the second target. So Neo, let's just take this new account. Okay, let's take it all into account then. Fuck it, baby. All right, so we've got the point of control on Neo coming in around 2,700 Satoshis, not 2,700, so sorry, not 2,743. So still below the point of control, so still a little bearish on that. We don't have confirmation of that HR flip yet, but trending upwards quite nicely, and like you said, good period of higher highs. It's been a good month for Neo. Look like we've had a healthy pullback right now on Neo. Yep, Looks like on the lower time frame, or excuse me, zoomed in, we can actually see the point of control we've actually reached and touched down on. Makes sense. This is probably going to be, that looks like a 50. Yep, 618. 618 retracement of the movement right here from swing high to swing low. Strong retracement right there. So again, same strategy, looking to enter between the 382 and the 50%. Stop loss below the 618 would have done you well. You could have congrued that up with the volume profile a little bit because you see that you do have a shallow area of the volume profile right here. You can always set your stop loss below the HVN, right where the volume profile gets shallow. So actually, sorry, let's just go ahead and measure that same magnet mode. Let's get the right level. Boom. Swing high to swing low. So tentatively, your next upside target for NEO is going to be 2688. So that's going to be right below your swing high. You've got some resistance coming in right around 2500. So 2496 to 2567. Previous distribution zone right here. A lot of volume traded right there. As you can see, that's really on the wider time. If you zoom out a little bit now, we get more data for the volume profile. That's right where the volume profile, the LVNs end, where basically the easy money ends, and you get into some significant resistance. So again, the way that I like to use take profit targets is previous swing lows, previous pools of liquidity. That's how I actually got that 2300 first target, take profit target. And so yeah, actually NEO looks like a pretty good buy right now. NEO looks like a pretty good buy right now. You just got your stop loss right down here, making sure this level isn't invalidated. You didn't have a grab for liquidity. You just had a nice, healthy Fibonacci retracement on a bullish movement. So looks like we can expect another leg. And that's invalidated if we trade below 618. So the R to R is not too bad. R to R seems worth it to me, man. And you want to be careful, man, like, because yeah, you're right. I hear what everybody's saying. You know, you have to remember the dominant trend. The dominant trend is bearish. The dominant trend is bearish. So what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't get over enthusiastic throwing on a whole bunch of longs. And again, it's still not a bad time in the market to be hedged. And I talked about that earlier. I'm going to stay in the XBT-USD long. I'm looking for a pullback on ETH-USD as well. I talked about the ETH-USD trade last night, 1660, sold at 124. I want to thank Alex too, man. I don't do this all by myself. Got other traders and analysts that contribute to cracking cryptocurrency. So, you know, different time frames, different markets, different experience, different expertise. I couldn't do it all by myself. Well, I mean, I profitably trade on my own, but thanks to them, having a community helps a lot, man. Yeah, I already yeah, BitTron. I covered Tron this morning. Hey, Mr. Anthony and Choles33, thank you so much for the follows on Twitch, guys. Highly appreciated. And let's see here. Daniel Zalakis, Alone HBK, Carrie Greenwood, Sergey Klemevsky, and Julio Infante. Thank you so much for the subscriptions on YouTube, guys. Welcome to the community. Very happy to meet you guys. We're here every morning at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right. What was I going to say? Yeah, so I just wanted to look at TRXH19 real quick. Yeah. Because I just want to show you guys my thought process. So Alex had put us in a TRXH19 long. I actually want to pull up the exact numbers so I don't fudge them. Entries were 580, 576, and 571. So we only got 580. Oh, no, we hit 576. Okay, good. Didn't hit that 571, though. So 2 fills, so 40% on the fill. 10, 30, 60 laddering strategy. And then he had posted targets of 592, 608, 621. We went gangbusters on that. And this is what I saw. This is what I saw. So again, let's actually, I'm going to use chart replay. Because we were watching this last night. Okay. So I was watching this last night, and just the exact same thing, guys. I was watching, price had tanked, did two nice little legs down, two dumps and then a bump, is the traditional way of looking at that. And I saw that we were coming up to that point of control, and I was expecting to see resistance from the point of control, but I also wanted to capture an SFP failure. So this is exactly when we hit take profit target at 621. Something's not right, because I want to make sure. I want to show you guys the actual. Regardless. So I wanted to take advantage of an SFP swing failure pattern trade. Let's actually go to the higher time frames. Oh, there we go. Pretty much perfect. Okay. That's exactly what I was seeing. Okay. So price coming up to the point of control, which is exactly what it did. Hit our take profit target 3 like gangbusters. And I said, guys, let's do 620 to 630. Go ahead and throw on that short. And we're going to target that 620. I'm just going to target the pullback. So it was a short scalp. Hit 3 of 4 take profit targets. The last take profit target was like 597. Didn't hit that one. That's fine. Price is now back up at that entry zone. And now it's kind of looking, it's looking more bullish because now we're completing that pattern that I've told you guys a lot about. You make a high, you have a healthy pullback, and you consolidate at resistance. You're looking for a breakthrough. And that's exactly what I said when I logged in this morning. Saw price was in this area, or excuse me, not right before I did the show, but so actually it would have been pretty much right on this candle right here. I said, guys, hopefully you guys covered that TRX short like I posted the signal for. TRX is looking a little bit more bullish now, and it continues to do so right now. So consolidating right at that point of control. If we get that candle to close above it, man, it's gangbusters, dude. It's gangbusters. Short-term target is 637. Midterm target, I'd front run the 652. I'd probably front run 644. That's what I'd do. This gets invalidated if we close below, swing low, 600. So you guys could still, if you guys wanted to hedge, you guys could take this both sides. Hey, Rico Emmy. Hey, sorry guys. It's after 1 o'clock. I got to bounce, man. I did the 2-hour show, man. Hop in the Discord, man, and send me a DM, and I'll probably take a look at it for you, man. I want to get to some trading, guys. I want to get to some trading, man. Market's pretty frothy right now. Now, honestly, it's probably going to cool off. It's 1 o'clock. It's the afternoon where I'm at, so the market generally dies down a little bit, bro. So I just want to get set up. I want to get set up for the future, man. I want to get set up for for the volatility tonight. I've always found, man, like, right when I want to go to bed, the market gets wild, dude. And then right when I wake up, it gets wild again, man. Hey, no problem, man. We got the technical analysis channel in the Discord as well, man. So throw it in there. I'll comment on it when I get a chance. And I'm sure the other guys will comment on it as well. They're like sharks. If you throw a chart in there, it's like blood in the water for the sharks. All right, bros. Let me do the regular stuff. You guys have all been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me today for the Monday morning live stream. And now let's get into it. If you guys would like to support the stream, make sure you guys hit that like button. We highly appreciate the support. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and click the notification bell because we're here every morning at 11 a.m. and you don't want to miss an episode. I would highly appreciate it if you guys migrate yourselves on over to twitch.tv/crackingcrypto. Give us a follow on there, and highly appreciate it if you support the stream and give us a subscription on there as well. Costs a little bit, but it helps keep the lights on here and helps us improve the show. If you guys would like to receive additional value for your contribution, you can, of course, head on over to the merch store at crackingcryptocurrency.com, the third greatest website on the internet. And you can get access to this, the greatest in all beverage vessels. Merely navigate to cryptocurrency.com, go to the merch store link right here in the top, go to accessories and mugs and drinkware. And I will show you guys scientifically how you can be 80% more successful in your trading. This gorgeous, beautiful thing right here, guys, the greatest in all beverage vessel containers, guys. Literally, the heavens crack when I drink my morning coffee from this. The markets open up and the light of God shines down and shows me the correct trade to take, shows me the right entry and exit position. So if you guys would like to receive that benefit to your trading as well, please consider picking up a mug. Helps us keep the lights on here. We do get a small kickback from the sale of the merch. On another note, if you guys would like to join the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group and start January off on the right foot, if the 2018 bear market has been unkind to you and you want to learn to make trades, as I do, if you want to learn to make trades as the other traders and analysts in the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group do, you guys can head on over to, I forgot the short link, but I think it's, anyways, krakencryptocurrency.com /premium trading group. The link is on the website, of course. Information is also in the Discord as well. You'll get access to all the analysts and traders' trade setups and signals. You'll get one-on-one mentorship and support, access to our webinar series designed to take you from scratch and teach you how to be a profitable trader. You will also get access to our live trade tracking sheet, our database library stuffed with webinars, seminars, courses, workbooks, PDFs, everything you could imagine and need to supplement your education. You will also get access to the private Discord, the VIP members lounge, and the day trading voice chat, as well as all our technical and fundamental analysis, access to your own customizable trade journal, and premium curated news that is handpicked by Scott every single morning. If you guys have any questions, you guys can feel free to reach out to me in the DM or leave any thoughts, comments, questions, opinions, suggestions, sarcastic remarks, and/or death threats in the comment section down below. Of course, you can reach us also at contact@krakencryptocurrency.com. You guys have been amazing and fantastic. Thank you again so much for joining me for your Monday show. I will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to try and pop an evening show in here when I can. Again, the evening shows might be a little sparse this week because I am going to be getting ready for that business trip to Wisconsin to speak at the AAII seminar about Bitcoin and blockchain technology. So you guys take it easy. Until tomorrow, trade safe and don't get roped into bad positions, guys. Trade safely. Peace out.